Now, Gilbert Arenas spoke on Morant and the irony of that. Two guys that just got caught up in situations with guns while being in the league. I mean, it is what it is. But before I get to that, I just want to say this about Ja. Ja Morant is part of that class of Luka, Trae Young. There's a few guys early in this class where they're going to be the first guys, especially when this new TV deal kicks in, that they're potentially almost going to make $1 billion just off of NBA contracts. Not even endorsements, just contracts. So Ja has to understand of where he's heading and to actually lock in and focus and not put himself in situations to sabotage that. Because whatever strip club that he went to, it's so weird because it's like two things. First of all, the police, they did an investigation for what? Nobody put in a police report. Nobody called the police. There were no complaints. But police did an investigation for what? I've never heard about that. That's strange in itself. And second, the strip club leaking photos of Ja Morant in this whole situation, it's crazy in itself. I've never seen strip clubs just do that just out of nowhere unless they're Clout Chasey. They actually gave statements to the media saying that Ja Morant was really nice. He didn't drink. He was on his best behavior. But yet you guys leak out photos of him in the room, which makes no sense in itself. So the strip club is kind of Clout Chasey, and they're trying to make a name for themselves off his fame. And also the police just investigating the whole situation for no apparent reason when no one put in a complaint. These two things are very odd, and Ja has to realize when he goes out, he has to put himself in a good situation because he is a walking target. And it's clearly obvious. Either the police department is trying to get some clout, or the strip club is also trying to get some clout off this situation and monetize it. Because usually when guys spent that amount of money, especially that strip club, saying how much money he spent to the exact T, it doesn't make any sense. And the fact that he spent $50,000, part of that payment comes with privacy. That's pretty much implied. I don't know why the strip club is leaking out photos and giving out statements, which is very, very weird. But at the end of the day, Ja Morant is very important to the NBA because he does give the NBA access to the younger demographics. Kids from age 11, well, I should say from preteen all the way up into high school. That's the key demographic that the NBA right now, they're struggling to maintain their attention. And Ja Morant is basically their key access to that demographic. So he serves a very important role to the league. But Gilbert Arenas spoke on this situation. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Talk about mistakes, though. In the span of a couple of days, before the incident with the gun in the strip club, he was on the bench during the game, letting them off.
What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Like,
given the circumstance of the situation that's going on, you find nothing to be wrong with that?
No, because I've been. You know what's so funny? When people talk about they've been there, I've been there. So yeah. I know that the reaction he's doing. If you take away the incidents of what people were saying about the gun, you know, with the 17-year-old, is that fine? Because every other player does it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So since every other player does it, what's the difference? Yeah, he's under the spotlight, but he's still just being normal. The club incident is he had to consciously think about what he was going to do. Get on the gram, get on the gram. He was on social media, right?
IG Live.
And film himself doing it, which is basically YouTube, in a sense. So I just think it's more of a rebellion, pushback than the whole thug movement.
And you think, people have pointed out Colorado open carry state. So I really haven't seen the NRA come to Ja's defense, which is a little confusing to me, but that's for another conversation. But some have said that Ja needs a better crew around him. Others have said that, no, this is Ja and he needs to just be making better decisions. What do you think?
You don't want to give him the scapegoat of using his friends, but at the end of the day, sometimes you got to remember, you're the person that's in the NBA. You went through college. You made it out. Your friends didn't. You know what I mean? They're making it out because of you. You're pulling them out. So, sometimes when you're sitting around those friends, you're picking up their habits versus them picking up yours. So all you're doing is enticing them to be who they really are what they really want to be, and you're just trying to fit in. So it seems like he's going to take on the personality of them instead of them trying to rise to his superstardom. But that's everybody's friends.
He has to understand when to separate from that. LeBron James serves as a prime and perfect example and just a model that you have to have when you're someone like LeBron James and you elevate your friends. All his friends are in prime position to have businesses of their own and to elevate just like LeBron and help him out at the same time. That's the model for anyone, whether you're a celebrity, whether you're a basketball star, or just you're achieving something in business or just any type of success in life. That's like the type of circle you want around you. Guys that are willing to elevate and go along to the next phase of life with you.
It's everybody's friend. So I don't understand, most of these adults in their 50s and 60s, 40s, and when you guys were 23, you guys were doing dumb shit, right? You were doing dumb shit, right? Are we gonna forget there was a Dennis Rodman? Was he 23 when he was doing that, or was he 30-something? He was 30-something acting like that.
Yeah, and that's a cultural issue. Something up with our society where we see as long as a guy is making millions of dollars, we never question their mental illness, as we see from Kanye West, and we pretty much view them as an adult. And that's something especially with athletes that we see. People kind of hold them to the same standard as like someone that's in their 40s. Now they do have a responsibility, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's like we forget that they're also kids.
Jordan, clubbing in Vegas, flying Vegas, and then coming to the game. Guard, he hit 55, but if he didn't hit 55, what would they be saying? That's an older Jordan. You know what I mean? Charles Barkley, all these guys are older doing dumb shit.
And that's a great point Gilbert Arenas had brought up. But at the end of the day, it's just too many incidents back to back with Ja's name on it.
You know what I mean? I think Barkley threw somebody through a window or something.
How old was he when he did it?
So
he wasn't 23, is what I'm saying. So it's easy to throw rocks, when you have stone now and not glass. But at 23, you do 23-year-old shit, just period.
But is it fair to say that at 23, Ja is a different 23? When you're talking about a multi-million-dollar athlete, a role model, somebody who has, he's out in public, he's doing things, does a bunch of charitable and community stuff as well. It's not the same 23 as somebody like myself who was washed by the time I was 21, living a regular square life.
You gotta remember, he didn't have a full college career. It's not like he's went to the NBA and everyone on his team is in the 30s, right? Everyone on this team is younger or the same age as him. All immature. All are trying to figure out who they are together. Why you think they all act the same on the court? They're all picking up the same personalities because there's no other example for them to actually look at. So, they're still going to the mall, right? This is the age where they're actually still going to the mall because that's what the age does. Like, instead of, we can just, ship everything to us, but they have to get out and go to the mall and still actually trying to be normal, but they have all this money and all this fame. So when you think about the places he's gonna get in trouble, it's only a few places. Club, strip club. That's the world he's in. You gotta remember, the world he's in is more of a...
Now, further thing I want to elaborate about that strip club culture, just know, especially among the NBA players in the inner circles, when a lot of those guys go to the strip club and they're throwing money, best believe, especially the brothers, the places that they're going to, they're competing against the D-boys. There is a culture where NBA players and either scammers or D-boys, they come into the club and they compete with each other for who could throw the most money. That is a culture in the strip club, and a lot of NBA players, they're aware of it.
A strip club, it's a low life. It's a low life. Our job is we have a low life hour. You gotta remember, after we're done practice around 1 o'clock, there's no doctors and lawyers and businessmen or women free. They're work. That time is strippers getting ready for the strip club that night, right? Right? So, we have this time, we're at the mall, no one's there but strippers shopping for their night shift. And then when business people get off, unless you catch them at the mall. But for the most part, you're having the same lifestyle. So it's that 1, 2 o'clock, then you sleep all day, then you're partying at night. So you're in, that hood lifestyle, believe it or not.
And when Gilbert Arenas says hood lifestyle, it means like it's not structured really. It's very unconventional. And sometimes the younger players, they're going through transitions, not only that their lifestyle kind of lines up with the strip club lifestyle, they're also getting an influx of money at the same time. So the times that they have to work and get breaks, it coincides with the nightlife. The guys that go out to the clubs, the strippers, the D-boys, it kind of lines up with that. They sort of have like the same time schedule where it's like they're free during the night. They don't really have to be up early during the day, or even if they have to, they have the whole middle of the day of having a break after practice, and then they play the games and they just get out just in time to go out again.
It's more of a club scene, for entertainment, and so that's the only places he can actually get in trouble.
So like you mentioned, Ja has a solid support system. He's got his parents around. His dad, T, is pretty much at every single game.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the games, very active in his son's life. Mom is as well.
And his dad has to get off the whole celebrity shit. His dad seems like he wants to be seen. I went to a basketball game and his dad was sitting right next to Floyd. I actually got lucky enough to get front row tickets. Like I was in row 3, but at the end of the day, like Ja's dad, he's going to different arenas. I was in Madison Square Garden. I don't know how, he actually got front row tickets right next to Floyd Mayweather. This guy has front row tickets to every away game. So there's definitely a celebrity aspect to it with his father.
Shifted to talk about what was your experience like coming into the league and how much support did you have and what outlets did you have to find that support? It seems like you're in college, you got a lot of people on your shit, you're on campus, you got people checking on you, you got to be a tutor and you got to be here, you got to be there. When you get to the league, it's like, oh, you got to be practice games, but the rest of that time is yours. So what outlets or what resources did you have to help you make that transition going from a college kid to now I'm a grown ass man in the NBA?
That's that adjustment to that NBA life. Is that transition I was talking about.
Resources. There's no resources. There's no one who can identify with what you're doing besides your teammates. If you look around at ex-teammates, their best friends are ex-teammates, the people they played with, because they're the only ones that is going through the same exact thing you're going through. Friends are leeching off you. Girl might be in the streets doing something, parents asking you for money, this person asking you for money, this person trying to get you to invest. So the only people you can really talk to is your teammates.
And it's funny because the strip club also leaked out that Ja said after pulling out the gun that he was going through issues. And a lot of those issues is what Gilbert is talking about right here. And only other NBA players understand these things. Unfortunately for a lot of NBA players, they become the breadwinner for their whole families. That's why a high percentage of NBA players, after they play, they go broke. They're paying mortgages and car notes for extended family members. A lot of people that they know, including friends, they guilt trip them to get $30,000 or maybe $40,000 for something. These guys among friends and family, they almost get viewed as like an ATM machine. And it's unwanted pressure a lot of players go through. So Ja definitely admitting at the strip club that he was going through something after some of the strippers were scared after he pulled out the gun. I think the quote was from the stripper, oh, he gave us a white boy excuse. He said he was going through something. Something like that. Once again, that strip club just elaborating on too many details of what went on that night. It's very strange to me. And Ja got to realize when he steps out, he's definitely a target.
Once you really make it, from there, it's how fast can you surround yourself with positive people and get rid of the negative. Finding people who are trying to help you build versus steal from you. But it takes time. Everyone's not fortunate to have good human beings around us.
And most of us don't. And let's keep it real. Especially for a lot of these guys, this is the first time they're coming into any type of generational wealth. They're the first people in their families even to make more than $50,000. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of these guys, they're the first people in their family to even make above 6 figures. So just imagine they're making multiple millions per year. And as we all know, the media likes to emphasize how much these guys get paid before paying any type of taxes, agent fees, insurance, etc.
It's, LeBron's success, that clean image, is because of his team that's around him. Players he played with in high school. That's what surrounded him. People who had his best interest.
And kudos to LeBron James, because I seen him when he was 17 or 16. He said that he did not care or fall into any of the hype. There was a lot of hype surrounding him, but LeBron James, quiet as kept, man. He was ignoring all of that shit.
It's really hard to find, someone who cares about you and not what you can do for them. So,
and also I want to say on that about LeBron James, he did not fall victim to that, unlike his peers. One peer in particular, Lenny Cooks, he fell into that limelight, that whole hype machine, and it resulted in him not even making the NBA.
He's really in a situation where he has to sit back and just think about, who is for the long run versus who's just here right now. Like, at the end of the day, you're carrying a gun for what? There's nothing you're gonna do with it.
No.
Like, listen, I know what we pretend we're gonna do. Here, they're gonna jack my chain. I'm about to pop off. Every human being is pretended this was black. Pretended that, someone's gonna break in here. I'm gonna do it. You're not gonna shoot. You're not gonna be Ja Morant.
And it's part of that Memphis culture. Let's not make no mistake about it. We know how Memphis is. We see the music coming out of there. It is part of that culture. It's like, we already know it's part of the culture. It's ingrained. I ain't got to further elaborate on that. It's part of the music. You see the grills Ja's wearing. A lot of that Memphis scene is in Ja right now. He got to be careful, man. He could get ingratiated with it, but not too much, man. There's a thin line. There's like a little gray line. He got to do a balancing act with.
Shooting someone, you know what I mean? You're not going to lose your career like that. So there's no point of actually, doing anything. You get robbed, take it, file insurance, buy a new one. You know what I mean? That's really the only thing. For the most part, it's just something that we do.
So you mentioned, I look at a guy like Melo, right? And Melo always tells the story. David Stern kind of stomped down, like, yo, you need to change the circle. He started surrounding himself with more people that he trusts. Some guys are able to do it, recognize it. There's some guys, though, that can't, that feel like they're turning their back on their brothers, their friends, their family when they do those type of things. So just in terms of your opinion, actually having been in the league and done it, how difficult is that actually to do, to be able to be like, all right, I can't fuck with these people anymore? People that you've literally grown up with, people you've been in the trench with, people that you've done stuff with your whole life. Now to say, look, man, on my bag, on my career, it sounds easy on paper for the average person at home like myself. Oh, yeah, just dump your crew, get a new crew. Like, that's not how crews are formed, right?
No.
And in the culture that some of us are in, that is not the culture. You're going to be looked at as a sellout. It's almost like they shame you into a certain position. And a lot of people, they get shamed and tricked out of a position that they're in life that other people are jealous of. And that seems to be a trap. Particularly you see in hip hop all the time, where guys get quoted as, you're not a real one unless you come into the trenches and hang out with us. And as we've seen, that type of trap leads to guys getting killed, as we could see from the takeoff situation with the Migos, and unfortunately for Nipsey Hussle. There's always this mantra where it's like, you're not a real one if you don't come back to the hood. That's really people trying to trick you out of your position. They've seen that you made a way out. You can always come back and have a positive effect in your community, but to come back just to hang out, it just doesn't make any sense. You have a lot more to lose.
It's not actually how crews are formed, but as players, all you do is just ask your crew one thing. If you guys care about me as much as you say you do, then you would change for this next level. Because at the end of the day, for you to be at that next level, you had to change. You had to change to actually make it as far as you did. So when you're saying, okay, I made it, now you guys come with me, for them to come, they can't be the same.
And a lot of them won't change. That's very unfortunate, but a lot of them won't change. And that's the part Ja got to realize.
They actually have to change. So if they're not willing to change for you, then they shouldn't be part of your circle.
And you mentioned LeBron before, and I feel like when you look at LeBron, kind of the gold standard of how you should move and how you should elevate your crew between Mav Carter.
Is that gold? It was higher than gold.
Or platinum.
Platinum gold.
Yeah. Vibranium, whatever.
Yeah, there we go. Vibranium.
LeBron, make no mistake about it, he is the blueprint for how to operate in life. And that's just not on some celebrity world or NBA player shit. Just in general, in life. LeBron James and the way he orchestrated his whole crew, the way they move and operate, is a beautiful blueprint for everyone to take a look at and follow.
But it also seems like LeBron, if you want to try and compare him to Ja, well, LeBron knew 15, 16 that he was that dude, right? He was the chosen one, Sports Illustrated. They were showing his games on TV. So he had a little bit more time to recognize, but I think that's also a testament to kind of who he is as a man and what he's been able to accomplish. But let's get back to Ja
now. You gotta
now.
think about it. Even his friends were his teammates.
Yeah. But he had old heads in the mix.
No, but what I'm saying is if you look at the crew, now you're talking about Richie Paul was there from high school.
Yeah.
Right? You know, Savannah. Then you have Maverick.
Who was his high school teammate.
You know, so he didn't bring outside friends.
Yeah.
There's no outside Akron boys hanging with LeBron.
Akron squad.
His teammate.
Yeah.
Whenever you've seen him dap someone up, they've been ex-teammates. That's the difference. Kobe didn't have no friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he didn't have any friends. His friends were Laker, the ones he actually liked. You know, so it's just recognizing that, you know, if they're not equipped to come to the level for that next level, then you can't bring them until they're ready. That's all it is.
Yeah, it may not be able to bring them at all if that's the case, if they can't get to that level. Because once you start fumbling bags and messing up money, and we'll see what the long-term ramifications are, but...
And as we've seen, Ja Morant already lost his Powerade deal. So he's starting to see the ramifications of his decisions. And also with his suspension, he's not going to get paid. So however amount of games they suspend him for, he's going to lose out on that money, potentially losing out on making all NBA and any bonuses he had in that extension that he signed.
You go to Nobu, you go bring a hooker there, dressed like a hooker? No. All right?
No.
You're not going to bring the hooker dressed like a hooker to the Nobu. All right? You're Nobu. The NBA is Nobu. Your friends right now is hookers dressed like hookers. So go ahead, pretty woman them. Clean them up, put them together, and then they can join.
So last thing on this subject, if you could give Ja a piece of advice, and you got your camera right here, so if you could look in the camera and give Ja just one piece of advice, what would it be?
At 23, you know, you really are not really listening to anybody at the time because we feel invincible. So I want to let them know that you're not invincible, right? We're not. This is just the beginning, and everyone that comes into contact with you, you're not going to be able to trust because you don't know if they're trying to trip you up some more. You don't know if they're going to be genuine. So now this is really a eye opener to see what the world is really like.
And that also includes family members. You don't know if they're going to be genuine either. So Ja got to be clear as day. I mean, just seeing on his Instagram, sometimes he likes to drink. I'm surprised. There's a lot of moves he makes. It shows he's not ready for the next level up. I don't know if he needs a PR team spending some of that money on that. But a lot has to also do with the Memphis Grizzlies. Sometimes some of these small NBA franchises, they're not equipped to handle certain stars. Especially for the ones where their TV contracts, their local TV networks, they're not really big media hubs. They don't really generate a lot of money for the league. So they're not used to certain media climates until they come to New York or they go to LA or Miami. So I think for Ja, I think being a big fish in a small pond is kind of having some effects because now he's seeing that the national media is going to cover him a lot different than the local Memphis media.
Your life has actually changed and you don't even know. When it comes to tiers, you were a one-tier player. You're supposed to be the future. And then this is just real reality, you know, because no one's going to tell you this. You are number one. You, Luka, Tatum, all that. they have.
That's that billionaire class. That's that class that could potentially make 800 to almost $1 billion in just NBA contracts without endorsement. That's going to be the first group to do that.
Now bumped you to tier 2, tier 3. No matter what you go out there and do, moving forward for at least the next 3 years, you're going to be behind those players because of the image. You're going to have to really sit back and like re-image yourself, unfortunately.
Now, I can't say he's going to be behind those guys, but there is going to be a fight for recognition internally throughout the league. So when guys are eligible for awards internally in the NBA, there's going to be like a small shadow ban on Ja. I'm not going to say they're going to block him from the awards, but he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes to the fans and social media, that's where he has the leg up on the guys like Luka and Tatum and the guys in his class. He has the leg up. He's much more marketable, especially among the youth, than those guys. And he has natural charisma. As you see Jason Tatum, he uses his kid as far as getting attention on social media and sort of marketing himself as this father figure. And Luka, unfortunately, he's not American. So the American NBA audience doesn't really relate to him like that. But Ja is dancing. You know, he knows the current rap songs, the music. He has the, I would say, quote unquote, American swag.
It's just one of those things where, you know, you want to be mindful, but you still have to be a little real. You know, if you don't get voted in the All-Star game, those coaches are gonna look the other way. I mean, a lot of things are gonna happen no matter how good you play. So, you know, it's one of these things where for the next 3 years, you're really gonna have to duck your head and just play basketball, still keep your same personality and not get in trouble for you to get back to who you know, were 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago before any of this started. So, and I just want to tell you that, you know, it's going to be a tough one, especially mentally, you know, just watching how everything unfolds around you. But just understand at the end of this dark tunnel, there will be light. And, you know, the Kobe's, me now have came out of it, just stay strong, keep working, and then, you know, let your game play for itself. You know, right now, this is when you really just shut the world out and just play basketball and, you know, just try to be mindful of the things you say, the things you do. But it's going to be, you know, you're going to have to, you know, work on your image again for you to be put back in that top 3, because no matter what anyone tells you, you are now in top 2, top 3. You're going to be I guess the Trae Young, you know, you're going to be averaging 28 and 10, and they're going to somehow leave you off the All-Star game. All that's about to happen, unfortunately. But, you know, just mentally be prepared for it and, you know, just keep going.
And Gilbert is right. The media now, they'll kind of cover Ja similar to the way they cover Allen Iverson, especially after he had domestic issues. They're going to sort of cover him with that thug image, and we already know how that goes. So hopefully Ja at least can get some advice from Allen Iverson, and also keep in mind that he is a target when he does go out, because that strip club just dropping the details, the leaked photos of everything that happened. Even though he spent all that money, they're still trying to capitalize off the clout of him being there to promote their strip club. And just that police department investigating what? Nobody made a complaint, nothing happened. So what exactly are they investigating? These are questions that Ja Morant has to ask himself. And just keep in mind, he has to understand where he's going. He could potentially make $1 billion. $1 billion just off of NBA contracts, not even endorsements. So he has to understand the path ahead of him, and understand that path ahead of him comes a lot faster than he thinks. He's not going to be young forever. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because once again, Ja Morant is the NBA's access to that younger demographic that they're trying to obtain. He naturally has the charisma, the marketability to actually help the NBA maintain that attention span and viewership. That preteen all the way up into high school, they're very attracted to what Ja Morant brings to the table, especially when it comes to the NBA.